Hey friends, it's Pastor Joe. Great to be with you. Mother's Day is right around the corner, and I was thinking about how blessed I've been to have a number of church mothers. That's right, as a pastor, I've had women who've taken me under their wing, church mothers that have encouraged me, church mothers that have fed me, and church mothers that have prayed for me. And also church mothers that have kept me laughing. I want to share with you 4 stories about church mothers from my experience as a pastor. Here's a lesson I learned from a wonderful church mother, Mrs. Vicky. We were having a pitch-in at church, and a lady asked me, Pastor Joe, have you tried the chocolate cake? I said, no, I don't really like chocolate cake. Well, the lady laughed, and Mrs. Vicky pulled aside of me and she said, Pastor Joe, when a woman asks you if you've tried something, it means that they're the ones who made it. If you say you don't like it, they take it personal. Now you go right over there and you get a big old piece of that chocolate cake, whether you like it or not. I have never forgotten that lesson. And now, since then, I've gained 50 pounds. Here's lesson number 2. I learned this lesson from Gladys McDougall. The church I served had a special parking spot right up front for the pastor. Well, one day Gladys McDougall came and she hit my car. No problem. But at that time I was a police chaplain and I had an unmarked police car. So my supervisor had to come out and do the accident report. Well, about a month later, guess what? Gladys McDougall hits my car again. And again, I have to call my police supervisor. Then a third time, Gladys McDougall hit my car. And this time my supervisor said, Joe, if you park anywhere close to that Gladys McDougall and she hits your car again, you'll be the one paying for the damages. And he wasn't joking either. So since that day, I have always parked my car far away from the entrance of the church and just walked. People always think, oh, well, Pastor Joe is just being humble and selfless. He doesn't even take that parking spot for him up front. Well, if only they knew that I was really just afraid of Gladys McDougall. Well, here's number 3. There was a very wonderful lady at the very first church that I served. Her name is Mrs. Green. And Mrs. Green said, Pastor, I want you to go to this barbershop to get your hair cut. And you tell them that I sent you. So I went to that specific barbershop and they put me in the chair and said, don't worry about a thing. It's all been taken care of. I thought to myself, wow, that is so nice. Mrs. Green paid for my haircut. Then I turned and began to tell the barber, well, what I'd like to do is I'd like to have a little bit off of the top here. And before I could get done explaining what I wanted, the barber said, no, you don't understand. It's all been taken care of. Not only did she pay for your haircut, but she told me exactly how to cut your hair. I'll never forget that. And the lesson that she taught me was that you represent the congregation. Well, here's my final story I wanted to tell you. A wonderful church mother named Mary Todd. Mary Todd was in charge of the finance committee. And getting funds for missions or for programs, oh my gosh, it just seemed like the hardest thing ever to work with her. It seemed like Mary Todd and I battled every single month. And I don't know what I'd done, but I just knew that Mary Todd didn't like me. Until my wife and I go to the hospital to have our firstborn, Becca. Becca is less than an hour old when the nurse comes in and says, oh, the grandmother is here. And in walks Mary Todd. I'll never forget that. She told the nurse that she was the grandmother and that she was special. And it taught me this: just because you fuss and you argue about things, it doesn't mean that you don't like one another. It doesn't mean that you don't forgive, that you don't love, because we are family. Well, right now, I'm thanking God for my mother, for my grandmother, for my wife, and especially today, I'm thanking God for all my church mothers.